Welcome back to 1010's podcast. I'm Michael Beck with Adam Nielsen and Mr. Handsome Rob. How you doing, Robbie?
Oh, doing well.
Doing great?
He's doing even better now.
Yeah.
Had to kick a couple Mormon women out, but we're all right.
Just literally, as
Story
we're
of my life.
just about to start the podcast, they knock on the door and interrupt us.
Yep. Well, we were just making fun of each other, saying like we're being too loud, and my neighbors are complaining, and literally
Somebody knocks on the door. Yeah.
I thought for sure we were getting shut down.
Yeah, I thought we were too. Adam's like, we're going to have to do a whisper podcast.
Turn the lights off.
How loud can you turn up the recording?
Turn up your iPhone.
Yeah. So I was working in the garage the other day, getting parked package that I'm selling. And
Yeah, for the SR20.
Yeah. So then these two girls come into my garage out of nowhere. Hey, how's it going? I'm convinced they're my neighbor at the time. I'm like, doing well.
I'm great, thanks.
And then they go and tell me the good word, and
You just thought that they were,
Hitting on you?
the handsome Rob effect, right?
Yeah, you thought you'd pull a Handsome Rob there for a second.
I just thought it was my neighbor being nice, wondering what the hell I'm doing in my garage all the time.
Why are you making so much noise? Is what
Yeah,
you thought
probably
she was
that
gonna
too.
say.
Why are those two random dudes come to your house every week and then they're there for a few hours and then they leave? What are you doing?
That's not what
That's
I
what
do.
they
That's
do.
none of their business.
What I do with two dudes for 2 hours is none of their business.
Stay out of my personal life.
Yeah, so these Mormon girls, then they come and tell me the good word, and then they pray for me, and then they ask if they can come back, and then I'm too nice to say no. So
Did you say they could come back
I said I told them now was not a good time
last time?
last time.
Yeah.
And then they said
You
well,
told
wait.
them we do a podcast, though, the last time that we were here,
Yeah, I
right?
did.
Okay.
Church podcasts are like that's the number one thing on podcasting.
Yeah.
So
Well, I know, but
they probably want to be on the show.
But they told me that they were going to tell all their male friends back in Utah about the podcast.
No, don't listen.
We're gonna have a huge following in
Did
Utah.
you give them a business card?
No, I just pointed to the sticker on my car. Well, then, then they came back today and they're like, "Oh, we're having car trouble," and you guys are convinced they're lying.
That's because they just got in a car and drove away. I heard the door slam and the motor start. They're liars. They're going to hell or purgatory or wherever it is that Mormons go when they die.
Stop.
That might be the most blasphemous statement you've ever made.
We're all going to hell now.
Oh God. So yeah, I had to tell them just for the second time. Now is not a good time because I have podcasts.
I'm doing a podcast.
You can tell me about the good word later.
They need to time out when they're going to visit Robbie because he's busy.
But I refuse to give them a time because I don't want them to come back.
So tell them that. Tell them you're
I'm
atheist
too nice.
or something.
No, I told them I was like, I go to that church right there. Is that not good
that's
enough?
right. Yeah,
I go right there. That church
the
on
mega
the
church,
corner.
the one that they have to shut down the roads to get people out of.
I go there and they go, oh, that's nice.
Cool story, cool story, bro, dude. Cool story, bro.
Oh gosh.
Do you think they're sister wives?
I was really tempted to ask.
They're from Utah. That's a thing there, right?
My first thought was when I realized that they had their name badges that said sister, Barbara and sister whatever. My first thought was I should invite them in and offer them a beer, just to see what their reaction.
Robbie, you're
was.
such a bad person.
Like I'm packaging stuff in my garage. I'm like, I should offer them a beer, just to see what they'll do. If they're that serious about telling me the good word, they'll come in and have a beer with me. Jess did not appreciate that thought at
Yeah,
all.
she didn't think it was
Don't
funny.
say.
You're inviting women into our domicile to have beer. Is that correct, Robbie? Random women.
Just the garage.
Okay, not in the house though.
No, just the
There's
garage.
rules here.
Yeah, this
You're
is
not coming upstairs.
It's not
This is
anarchy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just ridiculous.
So then I was going to ask them that the more beers I had, the more questions I would ask, such as sister wives and things of
Yeah.
that nature. Or we should have them on the podcast and then teach them car things. They would
How
not
to fix their supposedly broken car that's not
Exactly.
broken.
Yeah. Fairly certain a porno starts that way. Two Mormon girls knock on your door with car trouble.
You can find us after we've been sent to hell at Facebook, 1010's Podcast, 1010spodcast.com, at the number 1010's Podcast. I'm pretty sure you get Wi-Fi in hell, so we should be able to post from there.
YouTube.
Find us on YouTube.
There will be
Yes,
videos.
there's 4G LTE in hell. Little known fact.
But it only works half the time.
No, it's 3G. That's all they get now. Why won't this post to Twitter? Fuck!
You have Wi-Fi.
That
but
is hell for some people. Are you kidding me?
You get 1 gig of data in hell.
I heard this thing on the radio that they quizzed like 12 to 15-year-olds about vacations.
Yeah.
And the most important things about vacations was having good Wi-Fi reception and the ability to communicate with their friends.
You could do that at home.
They don't get vacation.
The whole point is getting away from my friends.
Anyway.
You can, well, obviously you can find us on iTunes, but you should rate and review us on iTunes as well.
Yeah, it's kind of
5
stalled
stars,
out. I'm
please.
disappointed in all of you.
Yep.
We like funny reviews.
Except for the 31 of you that have left a review.
We've had a good run on reviews. We just haven't talked about it lately.
Yeah.
You can also, if you've sworn off Apple products such as myself, you can find us on Google Play Music, which is on your phone already. Fun fact. Just look up 1010's podcast.
And
It's
then
there.
you can leave us a review on Facebook instead, which a few of you have done. And we like that too.
Those are fun also.
That's because it says we are 5-star journalists.
Real journalists.
That's
Real
right.
journalist, Robbie.
Yep.
Fun fact. Let's just get it out there because he doesn't listen to the show anyway, and I don't care. Somebody told us that we are not.
No, somebody didn't tell us. Someone told a friend of us at an event that we aren't real journalists anyway, and we're wasting our time.
We're wasting our time. So if you feel like we're not wasting our time, you should let us know.
We
and
appreciate
if we
that.
are, we'd like to know that too.
Yeah, I guess so.
But thanks for the listen.
Thanks for the download.
Yeah, keep listening. Buy some shirts. We'll appreciate that too.
So we were going to ask, as we move into the slow season, we would appreciate any topics that anybody has for the show.
Like, soon.
Yeah, you should hit us up on any of those social media sites and let us know. If you have something you want us to talk about, let us know.
Please.
Please.
I beg you.
If it's a good topic, we'll do it.
The more random, the better.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
Make
Car random, please.
Car random.
Let's not make it weird.
Yeah, not Mormon random, like Robbie's story.
Let's make it weird.
Adam was talking about doing an AMA, which is an Ask Me Anything. Right?
Yes.
Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
I'm not a Reddit person, so.
I don't do it on. I wouldn't do it on Reddit because I've never been to Reddit, but it'd be on Car Throttle.
And yeah, apparently you get some weird responses on that. So if you're looking for weird stuff, Robbie, that might be one way to get it.
We have to do an Ask Me Anything episode. I like that.
I would like to do that. I would like to do random listener questions if they have them.
Man, if we were a radio show, they could just call in. It'd be perfect.
I know. That's why we need we need a Sirius XM show.
That's the dream.
Syndicated.
Do you think we could do 4 hours of this or 3 hours or whatever with
No.
music?
Nope.
Isn't that crazy? They
I
do
can't.
that.
I
Those guys
can't
do
imagine.
that. Howard Stern
But they
only
have
does it.
guests and stuff. They have people to talk to every day.
Yeah, they have a format where they do something.
They have
for
then they have
4
games.
separate hours.
If we had 2 producers, we could come up with probably enough games and other crap to do to fill up a week's worth of stuff. 20 hours.
Yeah, I suppose.
We just don't have people that do that.
Yeah, we need like.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to do like a car Jeopardy thing, like to just let's just completely rip off Jason Ellis because his show's doing really well. So I want to do car Jeopardy, and I was thinking like, how much fucking time would it take to put together like a car Jeopardy thing?
We haven't even taken the time to put together car bingo, and that would have been relatively simple.
And we could have Googled that.
And
and probably
we
come
haven't
up
even
with it.
taken the time to do that.
No,
Yeah, the problem with Card Jeopardy, we would write the questions and answers, and then we.
one of us would have to do it, and then the other 2 would have to.
Yeah.
One of
So
us
one
would be
person-
Alex Trebek.
One person would spend 20 hours writing the game, and then the other 2 people wouldn't do anything. That's the problem with that too.
We can make that work. Yeah, that's a good idea.
We have that other game that we could do sometime.
Yep.
I don't want to give that away.
Nope.
We should do that sometime. That wouldn't take very much
We'll do
effort.
that. Let's do that soon.
We should do that soon.
Okay.
We should play games because games are fun.
Games are fun.
Bits.
Games and bits. Yep.
So hit us up with your topics. We'll take a look at them and we'll
I do have
probably do some.
I do have a running due to my eraser list. So if you've got some of those to add to my running list so that we have another show for that later on, I'll take those too.
Yes, please.
Or if you can
It'd
think
be-
of another topic like that we should do.
Yeah, it'd be nice if it wasn't just let's talk about Robbie's car for an hour and a half and make fun of him.
Hey, you kind of started that.
I know I did.
Yeah, that was your fault.
I
You came
tried-
up with that topic too.
I tried to make fun of myself.
the Cadelier.
the Cavalier and
No, they didn't catch though. Everyone's like,
Did you see that?
That's stupid 240.
Did you see that nice price crack pipe bit of the? It was a Cavalier that had been converted into a Cadillac.
no.
Convertible.
What?
Cavalier convertible.
What?
Yeah, I'll find it. You didn't see it? I
no.
thought for sure you would have. That's why I didn't send it to
So
you.
that's the problem with Facebook is that like
You see some stuff.
you
and
just
don't
see certain things unless they're willing to pay for it.
Yeah, it was on Jalopnik last week, I think.
I didn't see
It
that.
was a first gen Cavalier.
I need to go through my Facebook feed and unlike some stuff. It's too
much?
busy right now, and I don't get to see everything.
I unfollowed a lot of things. I think it's better. But then, like, there's this thing where you can tell it to show you things first, but then that fucks up your whole.
It's so
It's a microphone right here. It fucks up your whole feed. I'm gesturing that nobody can see. It fucks up your whole feed because then like certain things come up at the top and then you never see any of the other things.
yeah.
Facebook. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah,
What's he doing?
You get what you want. You asked for them to be first.
But then like if
Then
you
that's
miss
really
if
what
you
you
miss
wanted.
if you miss something, then you'll never see it.
Nope.
Algorithms, man.
I just need less friends on Facebook. That's my problem. There's too many people I don't care about filling up my news feed. That's the problem.
You need to tell those people though. You should put them on notice. Like if you don't post anything
I just
interesting,
unfollow them. That way if I run into them at the grocery store, there's not that awkward situation where I know that they know that I'm not friends with them anymore.
No, I like the good old days before the unfollow where it was just like, fuck you, gone.
Deleted.
Eject.
People will be like,
Out of my life.
I'm cleaning out my friends list. They make that status.
Yeah, if you don't
If you
don't-
can still read this, congratulations. And I'd always be like, why am I still on your list?
I don't
Oh
even
yeah,
know
that
you.
reminds me, unfriend. Thank you. Consider it. It's not like MySpace. You remember MySpace?
No, I never
We're
used
old.
MySpace.
I remember MySpace.
You remember MySpace? The
Before-
thing was to get to like 5,000 friends and it would max out.
Yeah, then you could also be someone's top 10 friends, and they like ranked them based on friends.
Oh yeah, you could place
So
people.
like, you get all sorts of drama. So if you're dating this girl, but you're in this other girl's top 5,
Yeah.
it's like it's all sorts of
crazy.
fights.
Shit would get crazy.
Yep.
Do you remember having to edit the HTML code to change the background and shit?
Yep,
Of
yep.
your MySpace page.
I refused to join the social media thing until like 2008.
Okay.
So
You missed the
MySpace
MySpace
was
deal.
dead by then. Facebook was pretty much the only thing at that point.
I was like the last guy to the party with Facebook because I was convinced MySpace was gonna.
It was you're holding out.
I was holding
It was
out.
the holdout.
Come on, MySpace.
You idiots are going to
Shit's coming back
Facebook.
around.
You'll be back.
You'll be back.
I was wrong.
I fired up my old laptop like a few months ago, and when it booted up, it logged me into MSN Messenger.
Oh gosh.
That's still
That's old school.
nobody
Oh,
was on it, but it's still there.
by the way, so when I went and got my new phone, we found out that my mom's phone was like 3 years old or something. No, it was more. It was like 4.5 years old.
Yep.
It's the world's oldest functioning Android phone. And so we went in there to get it updated. And he's like, yeah, what's your Gmail? You know, we'll pull over your apps or whatever you got on your other phone. She's like, I have no idea. And I'm like, why don't you know what your Gmail is? Oh, because I use my AOL. I'm like, Mom.
Nobody uses their
nobody.
AOL.
And I told her later, I was like, you need to, don't tell people that, like in public.
I can top that one. I was at home this weekend trying to get my dad hooked up to YouTube so that he could watch more Roadkill because he needs Roadkill in his life
Yeah,
as well.
everybody
Which,
needs it.
by the way, he volunteered one of his internationals if we ever want to build a stubby bob.
We do.
Ooh.
So there's that. But I went to my mom and I said, can you log into this? And she starts typing in her email address and it's .yahoo. I'm like, no, it needs to be a Gmail. Yeah, I don't have one of those. What? You don't even have a Gmail?
How has Google let you get away with that?
How do you exist?
Yeah. Google needs to know where you are. It's like how we all have Google Plus accounts that nobody's logged into.
Nope.
I do have a Google Plus account.
Yeah,
you
we
have
all
to have
should.
it. You have to have it for YouTube.
Yep.
Yeah. Does it do things? Can you talk to people?
I think
on
it's just like Facebook.
it? Is it? Is
sort
it
of.
still a thing?
I don't know. I've never been on it.
Maybe
Ooh, if you want to find us on Google Plus, you can find us at 1010s Podcast. We should be on Google Plus.
yeah, because we do have a
We do
Gmail,
have, we
don't
have a
we?
Gmail, so you can find us on.
I'll
let's
just
not
download
add
that app
to
and
our,
see if it's a thing.
let's not add that to our list. There's no profile. No, there is a profile picture because if it ties back to your Google stuff, we
Yeah,
have a
it's
picture.
whatever picture we have in our Google.
Yeah, it's on there.
Wow.
What other information have they stolen from our other things?
All of it, probably.
Yeah, probably.
There's probably someone else is having a store and it's with our name on it.
Right.
Yeah.
In China, and they're making all the profit. That's the problem.
Yeah,
Everybody's going
buying,
to the
everyone's buying their shirts,
yeah,
not ours.
right. That makes sense.
I feel like if I ever am at an event and see a 1010s shirt that we didn't make, that will be when I know
That'll
we
be the
really
day.
made it. People are counterfeiting and knocking off our
Stuff.
shit.
Then we're legit.
Yeah.
At first, it was like if we show up to an event and people know who we are, then we're legit. But we got
That
past
happened.
that. We
That
got past
happened. Somebody
in a
was like,
different
"Hey."
state, even in a
Well,
different.
we've had that, and now we've also had random haters at events. So now we just need knockoffs.
Oh, that's true. We've had
He's not random though.
random enough.
Yeah.
your Mormon story really fucked up. Keep coughing.
It's not a story. It just
I
happened.
saw it happen.
It's an event.
It's a Mormon event.
You want to keep
Introduce
this train
me to the
rolling?
topic. I can't breathe.
All right, this week's topic is what automotive-based legislation would you change if you were in a political position to do so?
So we figured,
It's politics season.
yeah.
And this is the
in
politics
case
we actually want to talk
In
about.
case you didn't know, we're trying to pick another president to ruin the world, and so we figured, well, let's talk about stuff that people actually care about. What would we do? Vote for 1010's podcast 2020.
No, we got to be 30. Would you 35 by then?
Not by
No.
2020.
Not quite. I'll be able to
you
run
can-
for president in 2024 though.
Okay.
Damn.
Yeah.
I'll only be 34 in 2024.
I'll still be
30.
You'll be 34.
Will I?
We're the same age,
Seven.
aren't
Yeah. No.
we? Are you a year younger than me?
I'm a year older than you.
What's your birth year?
89.
Yeah, we're the same.
Oh, I thought I was older than you.
I'm
No.
the old man.
Yeah, we're the same age. You just took longer in college.
Lots of people
lot
go to
of
school
people-
for 6 years.
7 years.
8 years. Yeah,
You-
exactly.
How many more? If you get accepted to graduate school, how many
If-
years of school will you have?
How much of a
completed?
doctor will you be?
Not a doctor.
Yeah, but could you have been? Is that 2 more years?
It'll probably be, but I'll be working full time, so it'll probably be 3 years.
Damn.
That's a lot of school.
I did finish my application. I sent it in.
Did you give him your statement of purpose?
I did give my statement of purpose.
Was it good? Because people want to know.
It was good.
Was it?
It was real good.
Was it?
Oh yeah.
When you get accepted, can we share it publicly?
We'll share even if I don't get accepted. How about that?
Okay, but after you get your letter, we'll wait till you get your letter.
Could we just make it a random blog post
It won't be till like April though.
with
That's
no
fine.
no context at all?
We're
Just
building excitement for your?
stick it in the blog.
Yeah. So
That would be a button if we had a soundboard button.
Yeah, I'll either be really excited about going back to school, or really excited about my racing that I'm focusing on because I'm not going back to school.
I like it.
Oh, I never thought about that. It's gonna take away some of your time there, isn't it?
No.
I suppose they're not in school during the racing season for the most part.
While I was in the middle of doing the application, I had the option to do summer 2017 or fall 2017. And I was like, well, if I do summer, I could do one class and kind of ease my way into it, or a couple classes, just a real light load. And then I'm like,
But
nah,
then
screw
you
that.
can't go to grid life
Yep.
or whatever.
So then I wouldn't start till the fall.
Fair. So anyway, we thought we'd do some realistic ones, some things that like might actually be reasonably possible if we were in a position of power, and then some ridiculous ones that are like just car guy, this would be great sort of deals. So
Who wants to start?
I tried to avoid the obvious ones that I thought you guys would pick. So I kind of went to, well, there's a couple obvious ones, I think. But there's one that's really obscure that I'd like to start with. I would eliminate the federal regulation that requires a vehicle to have a driver-operated high and low switch. This was implemented in the 60s under some random person.
Okay.
But it was pushed by, I think, by Mercedes, where the driver has to switch between high and low.
Beam?
Yes.
Okay.
Obviously high beam,
Yeah, 'cause
high beam
now-
headlights.
yeah,
Because
now
they've
it's
got-
automatic.
They've got adaptive headlights. Mercedes does
Yes.
in Europe that can see a car coming
And
and
switch.
move the light around the car so that the high beam's not
Yep.
in their
Well,
eyes.
Don's old Jeep would shut the high beams off, like when there was a light sensor on it, and when a certain amount of light had crossed that, the high beam would shut off on its own, and when that car went by, the high beams would pop right back on again.
So this was after that? They changed that? Must have been after that.
Well, he still has a switch,
yeah.
so there's still the requirement to have a manual switch is
Oh, I
still
get you.
achieved.
I get you. Yeah.
But then you can hit a button and it'll do it on
It'll
its
do
own
it
too.
automatically. Okay.
Loophole.
It is.
But yeah, I just thought it was like I kind of came across it and go like, why is that a thing? That's a stupid thing.
It's unnecessary.
Like especially in this day and age where you got computer controlled driving cars.
Nothing would make me happier than
To never
people
have to-
not forgetting to shut off. Not me, because I don't do it very often, but other people.
Yeah,
That's
I never forget to turn my brights off.
Right.
wink
never.
face, wink
Yeah,
face.
but when someone else forgets, all the
I
That's
make
time,
sure that
asshole.
that asshole knows.
that jerk.
right.
I don't understand why that can't be a thing.
That's an interesting issue with autonomous cars.
Yeah, I mean we can let cars drive themselves, but
we can't let cars choose high or low beam.
which makes me wonder: is this almost have to be modified if we can't have a driver in the
Oh,
car?
absolutely.
I didn't really think about that.
The other screwed up thing
I
is
wonder
they've
how
got
many laws there would be like that would have to be modified when we have fully autonomous cars.
Probably a lot.
I wonder how many
any-
little stupid rules.
Any
there are
stupid
like that.
rule that would require an operator input. So
Yeah.
like high
Yeah.
and low beam.
Yeah. There's also rules about like lamp size, like square inch area.
How big they have to be, or
Yeah, how big the lamp has to be, the housing or the cover, whatever you want to call it. Especially on like taillights and turn signals. It's a big deal.
yeah.
So manufacturers are really limited to what size the lights are. But now with LEDs,
It could be tiny.
You could be tiny and much brighter. So that's an issue now, is that you're limited to what design you can make, especially for taillights, because they have to be X size. They have to cover so many square inches.
Well,
That's why you see a lot of taillights that have a lot of lens and very little light area. They're
Right.
just big, unnecessarily big.
Yeah, there was one about the Mustang turn signals, because on the Mustangs they flash over. You know what I mean? They flash to the left or
You
flash
got the 3 lights, and then it goes.
in sequential order.
Yeah, it goes inside to outside to
Yep.
point what direction they're turning, but they're all red.
Yep. But Audi had some lights where they had a real thin turn signal that was LED, and it would flash to the outside too, but it didn't cover the area it needed to, so they couldn't sell it in the U.S. They had to do like a single beam light for the turn signal instead of the the
Oh,
LED
because whatever
flasher.
was lit at that moment in time wasn't
enough.
the square inch
If you
that
could
was required.
if you could measure the lumen output, it was probably
Yeah.
brighter than a normal taillight
Yeah.
or a normal turn signal bulb, but because of this stupid law, they had to get rid of it for the U.S. market.
Yeah, with the technology now, like just today, the guy that sits next to me at work he was given a flashlight that has some crazy LED in it, and he goes, "Just flash it across your eyes real quick."
Don't do that.
And I was like, "I can tell you right now, I don't need to." It's like a 3,000 lumen
Yeah.
LED.
Yeah.
It's a little LED the size of a dime,
Yep.
and it's it's bright enough to burn paper. It's just crazy. But yeah, you
Yeah,
can get
there's-
a light bulb that tiny.
Yep.
You put it in front of a car, and it's brighter than anything we have now.
Yep. Didn't Mercedes have some like laser headlights or some shit?
Yep, those are technically not
I think
allowed.
Audi had those.
Audi had some laser headlights. You can't have those
Nope.
because of rules like that.
Yep.
Because I think in Europe those are on the R8.
Wow.
Lasers.
That was one of the things about the new R8 when it came out. It has laser headlights.
Not here. There's a bunch of little stuff like that in the U.S.
That actually is one of my topics.
Okay.
I think that there needs to be an international standardization of safety and manufacturing regulations because, so like, I know this one relatively well because I really like the car. Volkswagen in Europe makes the Scirocco or however you want to pronounce that.
Yep.
I know there's some argument of it. It's just a Golf,
Yes, it is.
but they can't sell it here.
No.
Because it has to pass standard crash test standards all over again, and they don't think that they would be able to sell enough of them to make it worth it. Well, Europe has a governing body
Yeah.
that overlooks all of their crash regulations, and we have our own, and they're different, not necessarily better or worse, just different.
Yep.
And I think it's dumb. It adds an unnecessary complication to manufacturing, which drives up cost. It limits the amount of vehicles that can be sold all over the world, which limits competition. I think it'd be good for everybody if, I think you'd probably need like a tier system, because I can understand maybe kind of like if you want to say, we don't want you to sell that car here because it's not safe enough, like say the Tata Nano, because if you get an a fender bender, you'll die in that thing. So I can see like maybe having a tiered system, and like in Europe you can sell tier 1 through 5, but in America you can only sell 3 through 5 or something like that.
Yeah.
And that can be decided upon by the governing body of that country, but this crash standards, as long as it can meet that standard, that tier, can be sold in any country that will allow that standard. I think it's just dumb that they're not that way.
That was literally number 3 on my list.
We are not a compartmentalized world anymore.
No.
We are not the United States and just ourselves. We are a global economy now. Everybody is working together at this point. The world is too connected to have stupid little things like that be in the way. It drives me nuts because that's why we end up never getting a bunch of these cool enthusiast cars that we wish we could.
It's probably the reason we're not getting the two-door Golf anymore either.
Yep, because it's
What's
not
the
worth
point?
putting it because
They're not going to do a 2017 crash test for
the
it.
percentages of them that are sold, it's not worth it. But if it was that way internationally, they could sell those here. Or they could sell, all those
Right.
special edition cars that we don't see. And then we could probably get things like Renaults and Skodas and stuff like that we
Yep.
don't get now. Or one of the cars that I'd really like to see here, Holden Utes.
Yeah.
Because that's built on the Alpha chassis.
Yes.
It's a chassis we get here.
Yep.
How could it not pass our crash? It would guaranteed pass our standards.
They just don't want to crash it. Which is fair enough. There's a lot of cost associated with that.
There's a lot of cost associated with that.
Because don't you have to crash like a certain number of vehicles and they have to meet?
Yeah, you have to
10
do some
different
other
criteria.
Yeah, you got some other stuff you got to do too, and you probably got to run it through that same thing we were just talking about. Are the taillights big enough?
Yep.
Yeah, there's that, and then I think the other part of that is probably emissions.
Yep.
Emissions would have to
another
be
emissions
standardized
test.
as well.
I think that's super, super stupid expensive. The EPA testing.
Yeah.
Isn't the United States like much more restrictive than the rest?
Yeah.
Like especially like with China.
Yeah, which doesn't make sense. But you think like Europe, which is more congested.
It's the same with
than the
Japan or
US,
China,
right.
which is smog issues all day long,
Right.
every day.
But it's worse here, and then you got states like California where it's even worse.
Yep.
China's an emerging
Market.
for cars, so they're getting there. But like they sell more cars in China than like half of the rest of the world combined annually.
Right.
It's something crazy because they're just buying cars like mad, and they're trying to catch up to the demand with the legislation. It's hard to
Easy
say,
for you to
apparently.
say.
Apparently, that's a word I need to avoid.
Bills,
Rules.
Laws. Yeah, there you
laws.
Rules are rules.
Sweet.
go. Yeah, I don't have much else to say except I completely agree with you. Like
It's a waste of
It
time.
just seems
it seems unnecessary to have a separate rules and regulations for every single country.
I think that it would make cars cheaper
Yeah,
because they would.
Yeah.
Well, it should make cars. It probably wouldn't.
Because if you make a Golf,
They just have a better margin. But
you make a Golf, yeah, probably. You make a Golf, you got to make a Golf comply to at least two different standards. Because you're not going to make two Golfs. I mean, you can. It's like the Fiesta ST. There's two Fiesta STs. There's a 2-door and there's a 4-door.
yeah, in Europe, there's a 2-door that we don't get.
They don't get the 4-door though.
They don't get the 4-door.
Not
I thought
in the
they got
ST.
both. We just didn't get the 2-door.
They get the 4-door regular Fiesta, but the ST is only a 2-door.
See, that's so dumb.
It's goofy.
It's just so dumb. It's not necessary.
Yeah. Anyway, what else you got on your list there, Robbie?
I would completely reform the 25-year limit on importing vehicles. I would take away the 25-year limit, and like say I wanted a brand new 2017 Nissan something or other that didn't come to America.
Okay.
I would make it so that you would import it. Obviously, I haven't put it down like exactly how you would go about doing this, but like you tax them on importing it. If someone wants to pay the money to import a different car, you register it as a imported vehicle.
Yep.
You pay the fine for not passing emissions, or you register it almost like a kit car. Like you know fully well it's not an American car. It's not going to meet the standards. You pay for it, and you move
pay a
on.
tax for it. Yeah.
You just move on.
My desire would solve that problem because it'd make any car that
Right.
passes any standard legal here.
Yeah, and that would go hand in
Yeah,
hand
it's
on
true.
that one.
That's true.
But it'd probably be easier to get your rule in place.
You just got to pay a tax. It's like a gas guzzler tax.
Yeah, exactly. Like a gas, and then also like with insurance too, it'd be a separate premium because you're buying a vehicle that you technically,
They don't have, like-
don't know the data on how safe it is.
Right. They don't have that risk table.
Right.
An actuary can't figure out how likely you are to get in some sort of accident where you get decapitated in that car. Because that's what they do. They just
I would
look
think
at
that
tables of
you just
risk.
make it. The insurance company says, "We'll insure, anybody else. We'll cover you for damages to other vehicles, but you're on your own."
Or that, or you.
And I can sign a waiver that says, "Fine, I accept that."
Yeah, that, or you get it appraised, and then you pay based on what its value is, and you're paying insurance based on that car's value, regardless of anything else about the car. It's just what that car's worth. You're paying that much money in insurance, and that's how much it costs you.
The problem with that is that a lot of your insurance cost is wrapped up in how safe the vehicle is and how hurt you're going to get when it gets crashed.
Yeah, I suppose. Then you can,
And
then
it's
that
not
can
so
be
much,
part of it where
it's not so much that you're insuring the car as you're insuring
the life inside of it.
how badly you're going to get hurt when you get run over.
Maybe that's part of it. They don't insure your
That's what I'm
spot.
saying.
Yeah, they just jack up your rate. Why not just jack up the rate?
Yeah.
Assume like worst case scenario.
Yeah, just assume that every one of these imported vehicles is going to crash and every
But
person
they-
driving gets hurt.
They insure kit cars though.
Right.
I don't think that that's even that expensive.
Kit
I
cars without
kinda wondered
airbags
that.
and
Dude, the Camaro has the cheapest insurance, and if I'm gonna die in a car accident, it's for sure gonna be in the Camaro and not in the Trailblazer or in the Veloster or whatever.
same with the 240. It's
Has the cheapest insurance. It's like $19 a month or something.
Well,
And that's just straight up regular. It's not even collector car insurance. It's just straight up insurance.
yeah, my parents' 56 GMC, you'd probably get killed by any standard today.
You get hit in the face with that metal dash, and that's a
Dirt
bad
ass
day.
cheap to insure.
Yeah.
Not a collapsible steering wheel, no crush zones,
Nope.
no airbags.
Nope.
Got to be one of the most dangerous things on the road.
Yep.
Cheap to insure.
Don't understand that. It seems like insurance companies have the new cars down, like they got an idea of what that's going to cost, and the safety and all that. Old stuff, they just kind of go, we don't care anymore.
Well, there's probably
Give us
a numbers.
$20,
It's
I
probably
guess.
a numbers game. It's not worth researching because there's not enough of them in.
Yeah, and I'm
Circulation.
sure the likelihood of you crashing your collector car, like if the car still runs at that point, they can probably assume it's a collector car, and so the likelihood that you're going to crash that is probably a lot lower because you drive it on Sunday to shows and you're really particular about it and you make sure you don't park next to people and the liability to them is probably lower technically. But if you do get in an accident, it usually is very expensive and people get hurt and so bigger catastrophe, a lot lower, fender bender and all that shit.
So I have a buddy whose brother, well, Josh, we've talked about him plenty. So Josh's brother wants to buy a rear-wheel drive V8 car, but he also needs something that's responsible because he has kids and a wife. And so he was looking at a G8 GXP.
obviously.
It is cheaper to insure per month if he bought a Trailblazer to drive everywhere and a C5 Corvette to drive on the weekends than it would be to just own the G8 GXP.
Oh my gosh.
Because the crash statistics for the Corvette are so low because
Yep.
they get so few miles put on them that, and compared to the G8, which is a daily driver for most of the people that own it, its crash statistics are much higher. And therefore it's more expensive to insure it because to them, the percentage of chance that the owner is going to get involved in a crash is much higher.
And I guess it makes sense.
It's so dumb, but it's the way it
yeah.
is.
it is.
It kind of makes sense, but it seems backwards.
Yep.
You got anything else on your list there, Robbie?
I got one really obscure one.
Okay.
I was hoping you'd have something.
I've got an obscure one. Do you want an obscure one?
We can jump to obscures.
So I had one. This is when I was driving back and forth to Iowa City all the time. I was like, it's a long story. There was a girl involved, but she was in Des Moines and I was in Iowa City. So I was driving back and forth. Shut up, Robbie.
That's as close to private and personal.
That's as most information about my life you'll ever
I
get.
thought you wanted to be transparent.
We'll work on it. So, but I was driving back and forth on the weekend, and I was like, why can't we have like a center lane, like one lane that's got like an iPass entrance on it? So you pay your fee, maybe you have to get your car inspected annually to be able to use this lane, but the speed limit's like 120 miles an hour.
I knew you were going to say this.
Did you?
Because you and I have talked about this at length
Have we?
many times.
'Cause-
Basically, anytime you and I are on a road that goes above
So
70
why
miles an
the
hour.
fuck are we going 70 miles an hour?
Yep.
Because really, we make all these cars that do 150 miles an hour, realistically. You don't need to do 150, but can I do 100?
I was thinking about this. We should have, just like in Minneapolis or any big city, they have a carpool lane.
Yeah.
We should just add a lane to every interstate that's the legitimate fast lane
Yeah.
where
See,
you
this-
can go 100.
Yeah.
This was on my never gonna happen, but I'd like it to.
Yeah, exactly.
Ridiculous
It's
list.
never going to happen, but
Like
yeah.
have a graduated licensing system.
You get to go faster the better your license is.
Yeah, and like so you gotta pass certain courses. Maybe go to
Driving school.
performance driving school, so that they know that you can handle your car in that situation.
Yeah.
and then you probably have to pay so much.
Fee, yeah.
Pay a fee to get that.
Pay a tax.
Worth it.
Dude, I would pay a tax to use the stupid fast lane.
I would pay for
genuinely
that.
think why is I think we could raise our speed limit a bit.
It's not
To 80?
say it's not representative of what like
The cars are capable.
yeah,
of.
our speed limits were set 30 some
Especially
years
the
ago?
2-lane ones. They
Yeah.
could
What-
be 65.
When did
now.
we get raised to 70 in Iowa? That was like 15 years ago or something, wasn't it?
Well, what about 55 on the highway? It's been that way as long
Oh,
as
forever and ever. Yeah, I don't
right.
know.
Back
Yeah,
when
like
cars were
Well, that's the whole
60
whole
years?
Brock Yates thing. When they went to the 55 mile an hour speed limit, that was
Cannonball
it.
Run, that was
in the
like
70s.
69 or 68 or 69, I think.
So, I mean, that's been around forever.
Yeah, and those
they've
are
never
car-
changed the 2-lane stuff.
Yeah, and the cars are clearly much safer, better equipped to be going faster than that.
Oh, they're so much safer. Think about all the money we spend on cars making them safer.
Well, then, do we even make anytime we build a new highway? Is it ever 2-lane anymore? We automatically go to divided highways and we go 65.
Probably not.
So, I
Probably
mean,
don't do a
and
lot of 2-lane anymore.
Maybe we just get away from 2 lanes altogether, and maybe
Well,
that's already happening.
The other thing why is that not a federal thing? Why is South Dakota 80 and Nebraska 75 and Iowa 70? Why is
It is a federal
Texas,
highway.
why is the federal interstate not a federal speed limit? Because, is it Illinois or Wisconsin? They have a truck speed and
Yeah,
a car
that's,
speed.
That's 60, I think, is the truck speed
That's
or something.
so annoying because you got to know what state you're in and you got to be paying attention. It should just be a federal everything.
Well, then doesn't Texas have an interstate that jumps up to like 80 or 90?
They
It's
have
a toll road.
There's a toll
Is it
road.
a
I
toll
think
road?
it's 85.
That's where
That's what we need.
Hennessy does that dumb shit.
Okay.
I think it's
Yeah.
Hennessy on that road. That's Hennessy. They shut that down.
Yeah, that was to a publicity thing to show. They booked through the gate at 200 miles an hour, and it still caught the sticker on the windshield.
They had him out there with the cops though too. The cops were out there with their gun,
Oh, okay.
Can you imagine going through
205.
one of those gates at 200 miles an hour,
like the iPass gate.
like an iPass
No,
gate?
It's legitimately like the one that you go through, like when you hand them the toll, or is this one
No,
that
no, no,
goes
no.
across
The one that
whole
goes
thing?
across, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for the
Then
people
I-
that don't know, iPass is Illinois' toll road.
Yeah,
Thing.
it goes above the interstate.
Right,
It
it's a-
catches
If
your
I'm not
license plate.
mistaken, you can buy one of those in any state, and they're good in any state.
It's state specific. Like I could buy an Illinois one before I go to Illinois.
Yeah,
I thought that you could get one that's federal.
I don't
I
believe
don't know
so.
about that.
Because you buy an iPass and you buy it from Illinois.
Yep.
You could get it here. You could have it sent to your house here in Iowa, but yeah,
I really
it's
should.
not interstate pass. It's Illinois pass,
Right.
so to say.
Yeah, because the one in Kansas is K-Pass. So
Is it really
yeah,
creative?
because
Think outside the box.
Interstate 35 is mostly toll road through Kansas, from basically just a little bit south of Kansas City to Wichita. A little bit south of Wichita is toll road the whole way.
That's lame.
It's like $30 to get on. If you take the whole thing, it's like $30.
$30. It's not a small amount of money. $30. I mean, think about it.
That's for 2 axles.
Yeah, it's not like. Anyway, screw you, Kansas.
I have another one that I think is lofty and never going to happen, but I don't understand why they build 2 rest stops.
You want one rest stop in the middle?
Should be 1 rest stop in the fucking middle.
This guy.
He's thinking outside the box.
You should be a civil engineer.
I mean,
This guy.
seriously, how
thinking
hard is
outside the
this?
box.
And
You
then,
just, you just make
so
a big
that's what
big
so
radius around
in
it.
Kansas when you're on the toll road, because you can't get off to fill up. They have to have gas stations.
The
right?
Oasis
Oh, yeah.
things.
on the toll road.
Yes.
They're in the middle.
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
Iowa, and it's not this way everywhere. I mean, it's not a lot of places have these. Iowa spends a stupid amount of money on rest stops.
Oh yeah, there's rest
Those
stops
things
everywhere.
are expensive.
Well, so there's the one they just built just north of town here on 35.
yeah.
And then what is it? 25, 30 miles to the next set?
It's 30 miles. Yeah, they space them out 30 miles.
That's dumb.
You know what? You know how many times I've been driving to Ames and be like, I got to piss. I can't wait 20 minutes. Never. I don't know why they put that one there.
Frankly, I'm not even sure that we really need rest areas at this point anymore. Like, they are kind of nice, but are they necessary?
I never stop at a rest area. It's a gas station. Because if I stop, I want to purchase...
I want something to drink, yeah.
something. Or gas.
I get it. I would rather have the Oasis things like they have in Illinois, which is there is a rest area, but there's also a gas station.
That's what it is in Kansas as well.
I like that idea better.
But it should be in the middle.
It should be in the middle. I agree.
We don't need two of them.
Have you seen them in
That's
Illinois?
twice as many tax dollars wasted.
They're super fucked up in Illinois. There's like roads going around them and
That's
shit.
the way
and
they
then
are in Kansas, too. It's really difficult.
Are those Oasis in the middle? I can never remember. I'm always like sleep deprived
remember.
when I go through Illinois. I don't remember. I don't think those are in the middle. I think those are on the... There's two of them.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong, but...
It's dumb.
It is dumb.
Like, I understand,
it's so
like,
wasteful.
If you had one, it'd have to be slightly bigger.
Yeah.
But it still would be cheaper. Like, it'd probably only have to be 1.5 times bigger.
Yeah.
And the facility maintenance would be lower still.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, hey, I got to change... I got to take out all the trash at the rest stop. Oh,
There's
okay.
twice as many trash
You got
cans.
to get off at the rest stop. You got to get back on the interstate, go all the way down, turn around, come back, get back on, go in the other direction, then stop at that one. It's got to be a pain in the ass to do maintenance
the
of those things.
DOT employees that are maintaining those.
Yeah.
You know, there's twice as many toilets that need cleaned. There's twice as many trashes that need emptied. It's dumb. It's a waste of tax dollars.
I think the ones that we build in Iowa are a waste of tax dollars anyway.
Yeah, they get wild and out of control. The one that's out by Story City has a bunch of, like, the bricks, the decorative bricks that go around it
Yeah.
are old, extinct automobile manufacturers.
Where the fuck did they get those?
And I think they might be ones that are dead but used to be based in Iowa. Sometime when I had more time, I was going to go there and see, like, read all the signs and try and figure out what the story is.
Right, in your free time, go to the rest stop.
Yeah, and
Yep.
all this overabundance of free time. Well, they have hiking trails there. That's how.
See, this is the problem.
That's how out of control it is.
Architect that's like, yes, I got one guy to go to the rest stop to look at the bricks. Success.
Both of those rest stops out there have prairie outlooks and hiking trails.
I know. And they have, like, if you notice when you go there, there's a picnic table that's like 6 miles away. Off in the weeds.
No one ever eats it.
But
there.
someone has to mow out to it.
Right? Why is
Waste
that
of
shit
money.
all the way at the other side? Like there's an off ramp and an on ramp on those things, and the space between them is like a quarter of a mile. And the rest stop's at one end, and then there's like 3 picnic tables all the way at the other. Nobody goes out there. Why is that shit there? Why are we wasting time and money having that out there?
I don't get it, man.
It's like one guy built one rest stop and it was a shithole, and then ever since that one was built, the next guy decided he needed to make his bigger and more ridiculous. And now we have one with a giant turbine blade sitting in front of it. Have you seen this?
Oh yeah, out there.
Like, where did that come from?
I almost wonder
on
if that's
80?
yeah. My only assumption is that was a defect and they couldn't
I can
use
hope
it.
so. I can only hope they're like, we'll take it.
And
Take
I
it
would
off your
all
hands.
but guarantee that was donated either way.
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
There's
though.
probably a bunch of money that was put into that by Alliant or whoever is the
I think it's Mid-American.
Mid-American,
or Siemens,
whatever.
Whoever.
Yeah.
But I'll bet you that's their rest. Like, they sponsor it. They put a bunch of money into it, and I'll bet you they donated that.
Can't believe
blade.
we're talking about sponsorship of toilets.
Well, yeah, I mean,
On the
people
side of
are
the road.
always stopped at that rest stop, and you see kids stand in front of the stupid
Well,
thing.
there's
You're
people
like, look how
stopped
tall
at,
it is.
There's people stopped at all those rest stops, and I'm not saying that they all need to go away, but do they need to be 30 miles apart?
Not when the cities are 30 miles apart.
Yeah, and you're doing 75 miles an hour.
Yeah, there's one. I was just out there. There's one right next to Grinnell, and there's a Casey's right off that Grinnell
The
exit.
next day, yeah.
Yep. Have we bitched about rest stops?
Who thought that was coming?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
But it's dumb. I don't like it.
It is dumb.
It's a waste of money.
Can we bitch about some other things?
Let's
I've
bitch
got something
about
else
other
to
things.
I'm going to bitch about something else.
Bitch away, Michael.
I don't know which one I want to pick first, so I'm just going to throw this one out. Front plates.
So I owned my Audi for 6 years and never ran a front plate on it ever, and probably averaged a ticket a year.
Okay.
But I took the ticket, I paid for the ticket because I chose not to put the front license plate on there, and that's fine, whatever. That being said, I think it's a dumb rule. And we've kind of talked about this
Yeah.
in a past episode. It serves no purpose except to collect money.
In the state of Iowa, it is not legal for you to not have a front plate, or it is a requirement that you must have a front plate on your vehicle. And it must be outside of the windshield. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be
it's supposed to be on your front
permanently
bumper.
attached.
Yeah.
Yep. So sticking it in your front window is dangerous.
Yes.
You want a flat piece of
so
sheet metal projectile.
when you get
and
into
it
an
goes so
accident,
stupid.
that'll cut you like a knife.
They
It's
talk
real
about
smart.
Kleenex boxes becoming deadly. That's
Yeah,
gonna hurt.
That's super deadly. That will chop your head off. So it's got to be attached to your bumper, and I don't know. I don't know if I really care. People bitch, like, they get super defensive about it when they
Yeah, they
don't
do.
run them, and then they get a ticket. And they bitch.
That's
and fit
my
about
thing. Like I knew it was illegal. I
Yeah.
accepted that fact. Do I think it's stupid that they're required?
Yeah, it's kinda dumb.
absolutely. But I made the conscious decision not to have it there. I chose to do it knowing it was illegal. Just pay the fucking fine.
Yeah, that's your choice. Otherwise, figure out how to put a bolt in your bumper and move on.
That being said, if I choose to pay the fine and move on with life, I shouldn't have to pay for court fees.
You have to pay for court fees on that ticket?
Any ticket you have to pay for, any ticket you pay for in the state of Iowa has a court fee attached to it. Whether you go to court or not, you're paying that fee.
Lame.
Yeah, and it's actually more than
The ticket. Yeah, I'm
ticket.
trying to remember that speeding ticket I got. There was definitely a court fee. I just don't remember how much it was.
So I think it was Don a few years ago came up with a genius potential argument if you wanted to take your front license plate ticket to court.
Okay.
Cars were not probably designed by the engineer with the front license plate in mind. And putting that front license plate on the front of a car like my Audi, which did not have an attachment point for the front license plate, would require me to block off some of the air inlet on the bumper.
Yeah.
That limits the cooling effectiveness of the car, thereby changing and decreasing the safety of the vehicle on the highway.
It's a hell of a stretch.
You'll never make that. The
Nah.
judge will just guilty, take your money, and move on.
Here's an extra ticket for wasting my
Yeah,
time.
yeah. Here's an extra court fee, sir, for not just
Yeah.
paying the ticket.
I know it's a stretch, but
No,
you've met Don.
there is that argument
I,
where
s- I do see people like zip time to their front grill. I'm like, dude, don't do that.
that's the worst thing
not
you
a
could
good
do.
idea. I see it though all the time,
Constantly.
because they don't have a
Because they don't want
receiver.
to put a screw hole in their bumper.
And sometimes the manufacturer will make like an aftermarket, thing you can attach. Like you probably get it at the dealer. It's probably
Actually,
like $200.
it's not sometimes. It's all the time.
Well,
I
now-
know
now
this
they
for a
do.
fact because I worked at a dealership, and all new cars come with them, and they usually come like in a bag with the floor mats in the back. And when the dealer gets it, if you're in a state that's required that has a front license plate law, or your dealer just wants to put them on there, because a lot of dealers will put them on there and then stick their plate in it.
Yeah.
Your post delivery inspection guy can put it on the car. There's usually little divots in the front bumper that are the screw hole marks, and they come with self-tapping screws, and bam, front license plate.
Well, I think if we don't light them up, like at night you can't see them for shit.
Even
Right.
if
Why?
You can't see them at night at all. 'Cause
even
they're
during the
backlit.
day,
Right.
if it's coming at you, you're not gonna be able to read it.
Right. So I would propose, if they're gonna make it that you have to have a front license plate, make it so that the front license plate can be 100 different shapes and sizes that you could regulate it. I guess, but
they do that in the UK. Their sticker. You can get a sticker.
yeah,
That's the plate.
make
Like
it
a
so that
vinyl
make it
sticker.
so that it fits on my bumper and whatever. I'll make it work. But like, why does it have to be the size of the rear plate that clearly doesn't fit on anyone's front bumper?
I like the sticker idea.
Yeah.
If you're gonna make us have them, there's just a vinyl decal thing. Just good to go. It's reflective. It's good.
Yeah.
But it's dumb.
Yeah.
What's the other thing I want to bitch about? Tint. In the state of Iowa, the front tint on your 30%? Is that a little more tint? Or is that too much?
You-
15%?
in
I don't know the
in
tint
the-
law because I never tinted a car in my life.
In the front, you cannot have the windshield or the front driver passenger windows. In the rears and the back glass, you can have whatever you want. So
Yeah.
So
But just the
from
front
the
windshield-
driver forward can't have anything.
Yeah.
You can have
From-
something. It's just a certain percentage.
The two front the front windows can't have anything.
Oh, I thought there was a percentage you can have.
Or maybe it is a percentage now.
I think
I
it's a
thought it was
percentage.
like something stupid, like
It's really-
15.
it's- yeah,
No, it
it's
doesn't
really-
even make
sorry,
any
you're
difference.
right. You're right.
You can
I'm
have a
wrong.
banner on the
There's
front
a-
windshield.
and that can only
There's
go
a
down
mark.
so far.
There's a
There's
mark
there's
on
a
the
mark
windshield.
on all windshields.
But
there's like some letters above it. I don't remember what the letters are, but there's a
ASF or something.
Yeah,
Something weird.
ASE, ASF, something like that. And that's all the farther down it can come.
Was I in South Dakota when I got my No, because South Dakota's got really.
Did you
like,
get a ticket?
I got a fix-it ticket for my Equinox, but even that had like 35 or something.
Yeah, my thing on it
I
is
think it's
just
like 15 though.
I think you think
In
you're
something
right.
dumb. Like
It's-
something.
it's
It's basically
minimal.
no tint.
But it's funny how you could paint your back glass if you want.
When I had my Cavalier and it was walled,
Yep.
I was working with a vinyl shop at the time, so we just took black vinyl, put it over the rear
Yeah.
side windows and the back window, so that I didn't have to make the back of the wall look pretty,
Yeah.
because I wasn't going to take the time to do that. It's just black vinyl, solid black, because it doesn't matter.
Okay. I got the laws right here. Windshield. Non-reflective tint is allowed above the manufacturer's AS1 line.
AS1.
It's a 1.
I
That was an F.
I thought it was an F2.
The front side windows must allow more than 70% of light in.
So it's 30.
30%
Yep.
tint.
And then the back side windows and the rear window, any darkness can be used.
The law's kind of silly, but let's get over it. Like,
Yeah, move
Yeah.
on.
Do you really need it that dark? Have you ever driven a heavily tinted car at night?
It
I've
sucks.
sat in the back of my dad's pickup, which has got something stupid on the back of it, and you can't see shit.
It's an epic pain in the ass.
There was I understand why you don't tint the windshield, because there was that car that was at meet and greet. They had the windshield tinted. When that cop walked past, I'm like, that dude is taking notes. He's gonna pull you over the second you leave.
Yeah, actually, I saw a dude that had a tinted windshield on his Trailblazer. It was something dumb, like 70. I was like, dude, what do you do? Like, why?
I think I've
You
told
can't drive that car at
I know you
night.
can't. It looked like a daily driver.
If
to
there
me.
was a pedestrian walking down the street, you never see them.
I think I told this story before, but when I was at a cruise night, I think it was in Sioux Center, this guy had it was a new Mustang at the time, and he had that like chrome tint,
Yeah,
and he had chrome tinted his front windshield, so it looked like a mirror.
fucking stupid.
The cop said that the cop said, you take this home immediately or we will tow it.
I wouldn't have let him drive it home.
No,
Just impound it.
it's so stupid.
Yeah, let's just get over the tint thing. Like, it seems like in Iowa, like every year somebody has some flip out about it,
There's
and
a
they get this
petition.
petition started.
My thing is that most of the people who want tint that dark usually want it because they're being sketchy.
Yep. They're hiding. They're doing
Like,
sketchy
I'm not
things.
trying
with
to
it.
stereotype anybody, but I'm just saying. It's not worth it. It's so dumb.
Yeah, and usually people are like, well, because, people have eye issues, and what's the other thing? There's something I can't remember. There's some other argument they make
Yeah,
about it.
you can get a
You can
thing
get
from your
waivers
doctor.
for your
No, they
from your
not in the
doctor.
state of
anymore?
Iowa anymore. They said, nah.
They killed
'Cause
that?
Tim has one, and if you've got one, it's valid. You can't get any more, though.
Huh.
Just put sunglasses on.
Yeah, but no more. Not doing that, because I think a bunch of people were abusing it. They're going
absolutely.
into their eye doctor. And,
I know when I was in high school.
Wasting cops' time 'cause
When
they're
I was in
pulling them
high
over.
school, there was a guy
I did
who
that.
knew a guy who could
Yeah,
get
see,
that
there you go.
for you.
Sketchy. So, I don't know. Let's just get over it.
Yeah.
I know in Texas, I think you can do whatever the fuck you
Missouri is the same way, I think.
Missouri, you can do whatever you want.
I don't know about
But
winds.
those states,
now
they're
with
doing it because, like Texas, it's 140 degrees there.
melting the interior.
You're melting your interior, and they're doing those dark tints to help lower the
Yeah,
heat of the car inside.
yeah. It helps. I'll admit that it helps.
Texas is the same.
Is it the same?
The front actually theirs is more strict.
Is it really?
It's 25% all the way around.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, when I was in Texas, I saw maybe people just
Maybe
don't
they
care.
just don't care. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's
I
like
thought I saw
25% tint or 25% light let through.
let in 25% of light.
Oh, let
so
in.
it can be. Oh
So
man,
it can be
sorry.
So it could be
75.
okay.
Sorry, I read that backwards.
So you could do 75 all the way around.
75 all the way around,
That's-
except the
yeah,
windshield.
That's why I was seeing that out
Sorry.
there. It's dark. 75 is dark.
Yes.
There's no doubt about that.
That's what I have on the rears of my 240.
I wouldn't
75.
want to drive that at night. Be annoying.
Nah, I'm with you. Sometimes you need to make eye contact with the driver too, like through a side window. Mm-hmm. Can't do that if you got a bunch of tint.
No, I think I got 55 on the front of the 240, and that's
When you get pulled over, you roll the windows down.
I've never been pulled over.
In the 240,
Never. Here, let me.
you got some wood back there.
Yeah,
There
I'm
you
gonna
go.
knock on that one.
I knew someone in high school who illegally tinted his driver's window, but not his passenger window,
Bolt strategy.
because
So you can roll
the police would always go to that side when they pull you over on the highway, and then they'd test your
test it on
your
that side.
passenger window, and it'd be fine.
Bold strategy.
Well, if you want to really do it, you could go 2 inches below the top of it because their thing only goes only goes 2 inches down.
Actually, my dad's GMC is old enough that the window is wrapped in or has a metal trim around the window itself. And it is thicker than the gap for their machine. And they can't test the window on my dad's 54 GMC.
Love it.
That's awesome.
Tinted.
Not that he cares, but
All right. Anybody
Loophole.
got any other ones?
I got one last one.
Okay.
This is the only GTR that I would get rid of. I would squash the Global Technical Regulations 9. And for everyone else, that is the UN regulation proposal that has requirements for pedestrian impact standards.
Pedestrian impact standards.
Because when I design my car, I don't give a fuck about who walks in front of it.
Okay. Don't murder me. Just calm down. It'll be okay.
Robbie's feeling cynical today.
Seem
If
angry.
you're stupid enough to walk in front of my car,
Well,
then I'm going
fuck
to kill you.
Yeah. You had it coming.
You should not design a car to not kill a human if it hits them. Like, it just seems really weird to me that we're taking that much time and energy to design cars that are safe enough to run somebody over.
Robbie's cold-blooded.
I know. He's a killer.
I love it.
Obviously, this
Watch
is
out
this
out
is-
there
this
on
is-
the
this
streets.
is the far out there. We're already too far gone. They'll never take this back. It's changing the way we design cars.
Yep.
It's making cars more expensive because they have to be safer. It's making companies like Volvo make external airbags because we're planning on hitting people.
Right.
What the fuck?
This is why we need to take that MIT autonomous car morality test on a show once.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
We should do that for a show.
Do you want to just read through it and read the questions?
Like
out loud?
I don't want any of us to take it before the show.
Okay.
And then
take it
like
together?
one of us will have it on a computer and we'll read the questions and then answer them as a group. Try and argue and decide on who's going to die.
So is that what you do? You just say, "Do I kill the kids on the sidewalk?" Or
See, that's
do I
the thing
kill
is, we probably at least one of us probably needs to do the first question,
Okay.
and figure out if it'll even work. But I think you just like have a scenario and the
You read
multiple
it.
options, and
Yeah.
you choose who dies. Basically,
So this is simulating some programming thing.
I
that you
think
would
they're
have
actually using it to like try and crowdsource their
Ideas
decision
for
making
killing
process.
people? We're crowdsourcing who's going to die.
The general public believes that you are the person in the wrong, and you're the one who deserves to die in this situation. Good day, sir.
Goodbye. Thank you for playing.
I think we should do it on a show
Not a bad
That's an
idea.
interesting idea.
next week.
Yep.
So kill pedestrians, you say?
Well, I just don't think we should be planning on having cars, like building a car strictly with the intent of making it
Running
safe
somebody
enough to
over.
run somebody over. It's a vehicle going. If you're going,
Can we just have auto braking? Can we just
Let's
just call that
protect
good?
the people inside the car. I get that, but beyond that, I don't.
I feel like auto braking would kind of solve that problem.
yeah, we're kind of working on that already.
And if you step in front of a car, like maybe you didn't have it coming. Like, I mean,
and really, unless
a
you're
morbid
going
show.
less than what 30, 20, 10 miles an hour, you're going to hurt them anyways. This is the whole Google flypaper thing all over again.
yeah, you could tear somebody's face
Forgot
off.
about that.
But yeah, you
For what show was that? Does anybody know?
it's a
I don't know, it
long.
was a news topic in one of our
If,
shows.
if anybody missed it because they're a new listener, just it's like a sticky Google car or something
Yep.
that was supposed to catch pedestrians.
Like a flypaper.
Yeah, it was like flypaper. So if somebody,
I'll go
because
back
the
in our
bounce,
notes.
The bounce is the thing it's the second bounce. It's not getting hit by the car. It's when you hit the ground. That's when you die. No, I think it's having your face torn off because you hit the Google car and then it ripped all your skin off. That's probably the thing that killed you.
I'll go back in our episode notes because we still have them all. I'll find that and I'll share it on our Facebook page. If you
Okay.
haven't listened to that episode,
It's
I'll find it on our
It's
Facebook
funny.
page.
one of the stupidest things I've ever heard of. It
But
really was.
that same concept is how I feel about just this in general, is that if we can't really design cars to not kill somebody if it hits them. We can't drive around with these pillow cars all day long. It's just not.
We can't
it's just-
round the corners on everything.
No, it's just we exactly. We can't baby proof these cars for
Right.
the external.
Take it from me. Baby proofing is a pain in the ass. You know what's easier? Just not letting the baby get there.
There you go.
Yeah, don't walk in the street.
We could train people not to walk in front of your car when you're driving 30 miles an hour down the road.
But then they play Pokemon Go and they walk right in front of
Exactly. How is that the driver's
your... I
fault
know, it's not.
or the designer's fault?
It's not.
I don't know. We should not make a hood safe enough to bounce your head off of. But hey, what the fuck do I know?
Just do the news.
Just an engineer.
Just
Are
an
you done?
engineer. I'm ranting?
Let's
I'm
do
done.
the
Are you
news.
done? I'm done.
All right,
Let's
well,
do the news.
following a political idea, Joe Biden gets the chance to drive his 67 Corvette Stingray, and the first thing he does is a burnout.
This was on what's his face's
It's
show?
It's episode 1 of season 2 of Jay Leno's Garage. So,
Jay Leno on MSN. What's it on?
NBC.
What?
NBC.
NBC.
Joe Biden gets it.
Joe Biden's. I've always felt like Joe Biden just didn't really don't give a fuck's not the right term, but like he's just Joe Biden.
Yeah.
He's just going around being Joe Biden, and that's all right.
But he's a car guy.
He's a car guy.
Apparently he likes Corvettes, but you know.
Yeah, this Corvette was given to him as a wedding gift from his father.
It's pretty cool. His dad owned the Chevy dealership. I didn't know
So
that.
this has been in his family since
It was new.
always.
Yeah, brand
That's
new.
cool.
Didn't he say he took his car in to get it? His dad was giving them a wedding gift of servicing their cars, so he took his car in, and he took his wife's car in, and then when he got them back, they were a Corvette.
I would take that all day long.
I would take that as well. I was like,
I
that doesn't
mean-
sound like the worst trade ever.
Yeah, whatever. It's.
Here's your wedding gift. It's a Corvette.
Thanks.
I guess that depends on what he had before.
No, it wasn't anything interesting. It's like a Cornet or something.
Oh,
Nothing that fun.
see ya.
But yeah, it was cool.
Not a lot to say about it. It's just
I was
think it's
surprised.
cool.
I guess I kind of knew it, but I didn't really know the facts of it. That leaders are barred from taking the wheel while holding office. So like Obama can't drive his car.
Yeah.
Anyone high up in Congress, all those people, they can't drive their own vehicles while they're holding office.
Can the political candidates drive their cars?
Do they?
I had heard maybe that
I bet they can.
aren't allowed to.
I would imagine they can.
Because I think they have, like, I think Trump and Hillary Clinton have Secret Service detail
Yes.
yeah, they do.
at this point. So I'm going to say
I
that they
read
probably can't drive.
I read
either.
an article a while back about like the realities of being the loser
Okay.
in the race, and like literally the minute they find out you're not the president,
See you, nerd.
gone. And so you go from like
The guy.
the top 5 safest people in the world to like by yourself.
By yourself, you better
And
hire your
you've-
own security.
You've had security surrounding you, and you've been pissing people off for the last 2 years of your life, and all of a sudden, poof, they're gone.
Yeah, you better hire somebody. Quick.
Well, maybe this is probably why we don't have more car guys in the
Probably.
politics,
Yeah.
because
It's a deal breaker for me. I'm out.
I can't drive my car. I can't do a track day. I can't.
Yeah.
Because that's what I thought. I was like, oh, I'll just rent a private track day.
Yeah,
Whatever.
I'll do autocross, whatever.
But
I'll be
you were
sanctioned.
saying it's not so much that they're worried about
Other people
other
running into
people
you.
shooting you. It's your own safety inside of the vehicle.
Yeah, so if I take my car, even if I'm driving to work, I could get killed on the interstate tomorrow. It's a fluke thing. Who knows? Anything can happen. You can't really take that risk on somebody you're investing 4 years in, or like they're in charge of your your country,
Right.
not company, country. But the fact that they let Jay Leno come in and they shut down a, I don't know what they would even call that, like a corporate or not corporate. Again, I keep saying company, like the Congress retreat something
Center, yeah.
something or other, and not Camp David, but something just like that. They shut it down, and then they had him and Colin Powell
Yeah.
took their vehicles out.
Is that Colin Powell's Corvette?
I think so.
Because he's not in office anymore. I don't believe.
I don't know. Yeah, he is. I
Maybe
think
he's an
so.
advisor. But anyway, he kind of like just totally blew the doors off Joe Biden in that Corvette in that video. I mean, he was kind of trolling him from behind, and then he just put the hammer down. He was gone.
Ricer passed him.
Yeah, he did. He did a flyby for sure. That was pretty cool. I didn't know he was into cars.
Yeah.
I didn't know he had a Corvette.
Wasn't Joe Biden's wife into cars too, or was that like a?
That's John McCain's
John
wife.
McCain's
McCain.
wife. She's a drifter.
That is why I couldn't find.
I thought that I was like not totally convinced that video was real for like the longest time.
Well, today I was convinced it wasn't real because I kept searching Joe Biden drifting and like nothing's
Can't find
coming.
it, yeah.
Nothing's
John
coming
McCain-
up.
John
It's John
McCain's-
McCain's
John
wife.
McCain.
She's like not terrible looking.
Well, she's like half his age.
And she's got like two S13s or an S13 and an S14.
A woman after my own heart.
Yeah, it's like what the fuck is
One of them was bound to be LS swapped. Even
I think
I'd
it
imagine,
is.
I'd imagine.
It's bizarro land. And it was like a 60 minutes interview.
she's
or
not
something.
half bad at it either.
No, she knows what she's doing.
fucking
She's
weird,
doing
man.
pretty good.
Bizarro.
It's so
We should
cool.
post that interview because it looks it's real, but it looks like really fake. You're like, this is not
It's an April Fool's joke. You're
right
convinced of
because
it.
it's like the set, where they're all really well lit and they've got the interview thing and the two chairs and they're talking to one another. But then in the background, they've got two 40s sitting back there. Like, what the fuck is this? So weird.
I'll link it in our show notes.
All right, what else we got?
Porsche wants magnetic dampers in its doors. And I hate this.
This didn't sound so bad when I first heard it. I was like, okay, so like they've come up with a new solution for that because there's basically just a metal rod that runs through there that's got detents in it that holds the door open at certain points. I'm like, all right, so we're coming up with a different solution for that. It's not that bad. It's super complicated.
So complicated.
Right now, they got the detents, which is the standard on basically every vehicle.
Right.
Then they also have the dampers, which would hold it all the way open, and then you have to kind of give it a little extra effort to push it back, so it's either all open or all closed, which would be a pain in the ass.
There's no in between on those.
I don't think so. Or no, sorry, it's stiff enough that it stays wherever you leave.
Yeah, it stays.
It stays wherever you leave it, not all the way open.
I thought that's what they were talking about at first. I was like,
that
they were just doing it with
Audi
a magnetic
had that.
damper. It would just stay in one spot.
Then their complaint was that I give it a pretty good shove to close it, and then now they're throwing around the idea of a magnetic damper, which would basically do the same thing, but it'd make it 100 times more complicated. And then the magnets would have to, or the electromagnets would have to know when to turn off when you try to close it.
Yeah, because they magnetize the fluid to hold it. So you turn the magnet on to hold the door in one spot.
Yes.
And then they're like, okay, so how do we do that? So you open the door, you press a button to open the door, and you hold
You
it
have to have like a
to where you want, and then
you
you
have
let go
to
of the button.
touch it in the right spot type of deal. Like have a capacitive touch on the handle, and it knows you're touching the handle.
Yeah.
And then when you want to push it closed, you got to touch the right spot to get it to.
Or maybe if you just touch the door skin in general, because that would be
suppose
that
you
would
could
It'd be like
make the whole
it'd be like a
door.
touch screen then, or like
Yeah.
like on the like the treadmels. They touch
yeah,
your
you
heart
grab
rate.
it for your heart rate. Yeah, you could do that with the door skin. I would think put a
Because
little
that's not
electric charge.
needlessly complicated.
I'm not saying it's not stupid. It's
Let's take a $10 part and make it $500 per.
and let's
door.
make sure that it instead of the old part, which never failed,
This will fail all the time.
this will fail all the time, so that you have to come in and get it replaced.
And it's on the Porsche Panamera, so I really hate it.
It's so stupid.
I picked this because Ravi has voiced multiple times as an engineer he hates when they do things that are needlessly and senselessly complicated, and he hates the Porsche Panamera. And I was like, we have to talk about this.
Yep.
We just have to.
Sorry, Robbie. Everybody's going to that joystick shifter thing now.
I hate it. I think it's stupid.
Push it forward, push it back.
I would
Doesn't stay in one
I would rather have 4 buttons where I just push and it says P and it's in park, and then if I push it in D and it's in drive. I get that, but like
So
having the joystick is really stupid.
That's funny because the Lincoln, I think the MKZ, the SUV thing, it has the buttons. They're on the dash, but
Yep.
the park button's right next to like the radio off button. So people were pressing. I'm sure it
So-
doesn't go into park, but it's still, it's
I'd
kind
say
of funny.
So, I sent you guys those pictures this weekend of that auction field. They
Yes.
pulled all those cars out of a junkyard and they were selling them as an auction deal. I don't remember what it was. Some old like 60s car had buttons on the dash, and it was on the left side of the steering wheel.
Wasn't a Cadillac, was it?
No, I think it might have been a Corvair,
Oh, okay.
but I could be way off base.
Or Buick, maybe, or Oldsmobile.
There probably was multiples.
Yeah,
of
I'm
them.
sure.
But that was a thing back then.
Do crazy shit with shifters. Yeah.
My Tempest was a little lever on the dash, and it had like a little. It looked like a gauge. It was just a glass with some stickers on it, and a little red like
Marker,
line.
yeah.
It just you pulled it down until you had it in the spot you wanted, but you had to like physically click them through each one.
Right.
So whatever.
Yeah. I think it's ridiculous
dumb.
to spend all that money and make it more expensive and more complicated for basically no gain.
Your door stays open when you don't touch it.
Yep. Wow.
It's
First
stupid.
world problems.
Right.
It's not.
Now I get it.
That's not a problem in the
Yeah.
Congo.
Oh, he said it. That makes me happy.
All right, we can move on from this stupid Porsche. BMW recalls one X3. So we actually had an argument off air on what this actually meant. Based on what we read, it either meant that BMW is recalling one 2007 X3, which means one vehicle,
One singular VIN number. One singular car.
or 1 day's worth of X3s, because it happened on July 7 of this year. So what happened, What happened? Was it the
Power steering system.
yes? And they had a weld on the connection electrodes or whatever that was bad, and it could cause a fire.
Probably like causing a high resistance deal and could short and create an electrical fire. And they said it could even happen when the vehicle was off.
Yeah, which should have no current running to it or anything like that.
Yeah. It's just kind of like that guy's looking for a job.
Yes.
Yeah, that guy got fired. The guy that was in charge of welding that day.
But wouldn't it have been a robot?
You would think so.
Or the programmer is fired.
Well, I suppose it could be the program.
But how does one get through though? What happened to the next one?
I'm really curious as to how they figured out just one.
How did they track it down?
How
to
did they
one?
have the epiphany to go, that one vehicle has this bad piece on it?
And actually, the other thing we didn't look at is who makes the power steering system. Is it BMW? Or is it Delco? Or is
could
it
be
Bosch?
outsourced.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it could not even be BMW. So how'd they track that one down to the one BMW and get it recalled?
That's why I have a hard time believing that it was one vehicle. I have an easier time believing that it was one day.
Well, since we aren't journalists, what we did is we did some in-depth research on this. Where did we look at to get?
So I called Josh, my buddy, who used to work in the dealership and automotive repair world, and he still has some username and passwords to like recall data information websites. I don't know what websites he's using, but I called him and asked him if he could look up the 2017 BMW X3, and one site that he looked at didn't even have 2017 BMW, and the other one didn't have anything about this particular vehicle.
So all the automotive journalists just copied one another's phrasing for this recall. So it was really vague as to whether or not it was one car or one day. Didn't they say one model? Which is a very bizarre thing to say.
It's one model.
One model to me is all of them.
Because
It's all the
X-Drive
X3s.
means that it's all-wheel drive. So is the non-all-wheel drive version, if they recalled 1 day's worth, is
Yeah.
it just the all-wheel drive day?
And just the 28i? Because it's a BMW X3 X-Drive 28i.
Which
Well,
I think is the motor.
Yes. Or, yeah.
The
What does that
28i.
mean? What does that mean?
I don't have
It's
a
vague.
clue.
Vague
That's
as
why I
shit.
think it's just a car.
I think it's a car. Yes, for sure.
because they do specifically state owner.
But my point is that the legitimate automotive journalist outlets were too lazy to look into this, so they just copied each other's phrasing on what it was. We, however, did 5 or 10 minutes of in-depth research.
I made a phone call.
We made one phone call, and I was on the internet while he was on the phone.
I potentially inconvenienced his supper.
Right.
He
I was
probably had
right
to
at
listen to
dinner
his
time.
wife complain about how he's unattended
We were on
to
a
her
mission.
needs.
Right.
I researched this during my lunch break at work.
Exactly.
I
We spent it collectively. We spent 45 minutes on this.
Yeah, we
at
tried
least.
really
Right,
hard.
We tried really hard.
And we still have no
We're still
answer.
not sure. We still. But
if-
car scopes or scoops or whatever. they
But
thought
if
it
we
was
were legitimate journalists,
Right, we would've
which
just-
we are not.
we are not.
Clearly.
We would have just
We would have
called it one model and moved on.
We could have just called BMW because we're legitimate journalists.
Well, we could have
with
just made it
swing.
seriously vague like all the rest of these guys and just not cared.
Nope,
But we
but
care
we-
about the people that we report to as not journalists
What if that person listens to our show?
and gets it wrong and his friends make fun of him.
Maybe that one guy with the 2017 BMW X3 X-Drive 28i.
Yeah.
He's like, shit, I have that car.
That's
and
me.
And I just threw away some stupid BMW notice. I better call my dealership.
It's true.
We could have saved his life.
We could have saved his life.
His family's life.
It was supposed to catch on fire,
Because we weren't vague.
except we didn't. We're not sure.
But now we've put doubt in his mind.
That's true.
All he has to do is go and look at his vehicle, look at the manufacturing date. It'll say it on the sticker.
What was the date?
July 7, 2016.
Because if you had a 2017 BMW X3 X-Drive 28i,
28i, yeah, of course.
you would just assume it can't be you.
Right.
So
But
now
there's
we've put doubt in
one.
anybody who listens to our show that has a 2017 BMW X3 X-Drive 28i.
Yeah.
Now
if you
they'll
have
go
the,
and look.
If you have the 35i, which is a
We've
car that
saved lives.
we just made up because I don't know if that's a real thing.
It's
You're
not.
fine.
A
Or if you
not
don't have X-Drive
Maybe if you just have a 2017 BMW
You-
X3 28i.
or a 35i,
You
if
don't
that's a
have
thing,
X-Drive.
or a 30i.
You
I
just
don't
have
know.
a front
If you're,
wheel drive.
if you're wondering, BMW did not pay us to say X3.
Robbie, it's 2017 BMW X3 X-Drive 28i.
I just want to.
It's a stupid name for a car.
Long.
Why is it so long? Why does it have two X's in it?
It's too many X's.
Why is there an I in it?
X3 X-Drive. It's two.
Why is it just a?
If you're gonna go there, you should have given me a third X.
Why can you get an X3 without all-wheel drive?
Because people live in California don't need it.
Yeah, but they want it.
They do want it because the name is longer
And it's more expensive.
and it's
Ooh,
more,
I never thought about
they should
that.
just have they should just all be X-Drive. Why's it got to be in the name? Like I don't go out and buy a Silverado 1500 4x4. It's just a
Yeah, but some
1500.
people do.
It's just a 1500 though. It's assumed it. I don't tell people it's the BMW X-Drive with the
I
optional
had-
leather heated seats.
I had a
don't-
2001 Audi TT 225 Quattro.
You're just as bad.
Before that, I only had a 2000 Audi TT 180.
I suppose because if you're an Audi person, you can't. If you show up, you don't have
You gotta
Quattro.
specify.
Beat it, nerd.
Yeah, and if you have a 180 Quattro, no one cares either. You need the 225 Quattro.
But I don't know if anybody cares about the
Or even the S-Line Quattro.
28i X-Drive X3.
I don't care if
BMW
they do or no.
2017. I don't know. I don't know about BMW things. Should buy a sedan. Let's move on.
Okay.
If you would have bought a car instead of a crossover, this
Never
would
would
have
have happened. Never would have caught on fire.
Or a
All right, we'll,
minivan.
we'll finish this off on a really exciting note because Uber's finally starting to get things figured out. And now I'm fully on board with this self-driving car thing. Uber has a self-driving truck packed with Budweiser beer, and it makes its first delivery in Colorado.
What's the company called? Because they have a separate company. Uber owns a separate company.
I don't
It's
know.
got another name, and now I can't remember it.
It's something weird, ain't it?
Yeah.
Drives trucks around.
It's
That's all.
it's
just
a
trucking company?
AB InBev.
No,
No,
there's a,
AB InBev is the distributor for the
distributor.
beer.
yeah.
Oh.
Do they
Otto,
own the truck?
OTTO.
Oh yeah.
Otto.
Kind of lame. Okay.
Like rocket power. Otto. Which is a
Ooh.
reference that very few people might
I
get.
got it. Yeah. Interesting. Was that rollerblading?
He did rollerblade.
did everything.
He did everything.
Was
but
it?
rollerblading was involved in that show.
Dude, I haven't thought about that show in like 20 years.
We think about
I
it all the
totally
time.
forgot that
I'm
show
wearing,
exists.
I'm wearing a Brink shirt right now.
No one knows what Brink is.
T-Max Blades.
If you don't know, go to Disney Channel. Search Google Disney Channel movie Brink.
With an exclamation
Oh
point.
no, I remember that movie too.
I have it on my.
I remember that.
I own
movie.
it on VHS.
Oh my god.
It's the
They never-
Eric
they-
Von Detten's in it.
Yeah.
They never took it out of the vault. It's still on VHS only, so you can't.
Really?
Yep.
Those
Bastards.
nerds. You need to take it over to. I think Christian Photo does transfers. You should get that. Transferred.
Yeah, but this
Then
one, when you're playing it, like every 5 minutes, there's this scrolling thing across the bottom of the screen that says this DVD or this VHS not for distribution,
Whoops.
for like demo purposes only or something like that. So if I took it somewhere and like, hey, can you rip this onto a
You
DVD?
can just rip mine. Mine's the legitimate one. My VHS. I like how we both have like
We
these
both-
20-year-old VHS.
Dude, it's actually worth money on eBay.
It is. They're hard to come by.
They're very hard to get.
I paid $26 for it.
You gotta be shitting me.
Many years ago.
You paid $26
I'll
for a
bet it's
VHS.
$50 to $75
What?
at least. I have it on my DVR at home too.
Can you rip it off the internet? Not that you should do that.
The quality's not worth watching.
but, man.
I've tried it.
I have a VCR just for that and Star Wars because I have the original VHSs from the year they came out, and then I have the remastered extended versions
That should all be in your
in VHS.
your
as
bank
well.
vault.
Yeah, they should be.
Your
'cause
safety
they're worth a
deposit.
ton
Those
of
are probably
money.
worth money.
Yeah,
the
they
original
are.
ones, if they work.
Yeah, they do.
You should keep those safe. What were we talking about?
We were
Is this
talking
a car
about,
show?
Yeah. So Uber, I don't fucking know anymore.
What is this show about?
Uber delivered beer with a truck.
Okay, thank you.
So
Autonomously.
Uber used an autonomous vehicle to deliver beer. I think it was like 120 miles.
I think there's like
On
50,000 cans of beer or something.
Yep, on
it wasn't a small
on
amount.
I-25. They had a driver. Well, a person was in the backseat of the truck to monitor things.
Napping.
Yeah. So what they needed was basically a perfect clear day. They had to do it in the morning where there wasn't a lot of traffic.
Okay.
So somebody programmed their autonomous vehicle to go from point A to point B and basically start and stop as far as I can tell, and then not hit other vehicles.
Okay.
But they at this point they needed it was just a proof of concept
Yeah.
because they needed perfect conditions and they needed no interruptions. Having somebody jump out in front of them probably would have changed everything.
But that fucker deserved to
That guy
die.
deserves to die, though. Fuck that guy.
Exactly, getting in front of all that beer like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
ruining people's.
50,000 cans of.
That's a lot of
That's
ruin.
missions,
That's
sir.
a major party foul.
Yeah, that's ruining days. Fuck that guy. But
Best episode ever.
When we look back, episode 41.
Robbie fucking hates pedestrians
it's true.
and telling off Mormons.
I didn't tell him off.
He kind of told him off.
Hey, we're trying to record a podcast here.
Yeah,
lady.
beat
Take
it,
your
nerd.
sister wife
I
and
heard,
beat it.
Swear to God, I heard you say beat it, nerd. I swear to God.
We probably shouldn't swear to God at this point.
This is the last episode of 10 We've been taking.
I'm
If
gonna
we
get-
were a radio show, we
We're gonna
would
get
smited.
smited by lightning. on
Hit
my
by
way
lightning.
home. It is supposed to rain heavily today.
It is. We only do episodes when it rains. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
It's an omen.
All right, so
What's the show about?
Ab InBevs said that it could save $50 million a year for their delivery services. And then also it's expected to impact 1.5 million people who drive trucks.
Oh my God, that's a lot of people.
But they're still saying that you can't leave these vehicles alone.
You'll still need someone to unload it.
Someone has
That's
to
very
monitor
true.
it. So even if someone's just being paid to sit in that truck,
yeah.
there has to be somebody
Well,
there.
to that point, if you get to the point where it can drive itself and you don't have somebody to monitor it, you can't pay a dude to sit in the truck and take a nap all day and then unload some shit the same as you would pay the driver.
I was
No,
going to
they'd be
say,
paid
you
pennies.
totally can pay him. You can pay him half.
Yeah.
That's going to be the problem.
That's going to be the problem right there. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a problem because they had some Ford Fusion cabs. I think it was Lyft or Uber that were in
Probably
I don't even
Lyft.
know,
They're the ones that are pushing for
Nashville or something. It was a weird random place. It wasn't like New York or anything.
Oh,
But
so
they were doing an
Philly.
autonomous weekend. Was it Philly?
Philly's doing a lot with Uber.
Autonomous.
Yeah, like all their trials are in Philly right now.
It's a matter of days.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna be a
a
big
thing.
problem. It's gonna be a big problem. You got a bunch of people not working. Think about it.
Yeah.
It's coming quick though. That's the other problem. Is bam, it's gonna be here.
That's a job that you never saw coming. Like there's certain jobs you just.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be driving trucks for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
because nobody's gonna get this figured
There's
out.
just
This is
certain jobs
complicated.
that like you feel I'm good.
This job's not
Like this
going
may
away.
not be the best career path, but it's gonna be there.
You're not gonna be able to replace a driver. I totally get that. Till Tesla came along, I get it. It's gonna be an issue. Gotta
It
be
will
thinking about it, and it'll be here now. I mean,
Well, yeah, because like 6 months ago we were talking like we're a ways out, to now
Right.
it's like
it's happening.
we're doing serious
Wait a fucking
testing.
second.
Yeah, this is happening quick.
It's already taking away jobs. If they're doing autonomous cabs or Uber or whatever in Philly, that could be several people's jobs right there.
Yeah, at least.
So
Those are people who are gonna have to change career paths, and that's not simple.
you just get where they're gonna go though. You know, it's one of those
Well-
things. You're gonna become computer programmers? Probably not.
I don't know, because you're not going to need more mechanics, because there's not more cars. There's just no one driving it.
Right, and in theory, heavy quotations, cars should get somewhat more simple with an electric motor.
Well, I'm
It's
saying
one
even
moving
if
part.
they leave them as gas motors, they're just autonomous vehicles in the short term. We don't
Yeah.
need more people servicing them. They're still the same number.
Oh, yeah. Or fewer, even. If more people decide to do this crazy idea of not having a car. You know what I mean? They were talking about having cars on demand. Mm-hmm. We talked about, I don't know when we talked
We've talked
that.
about it a couple times.
So there might be fewer cars. That's an issue, too.
I mean,
That's an issue
you know,
on a
our,
lot of different levels.
Our world always seems to find new niches and people move into them. The problem is like, I mean, I'm kind of probably generalizing here, but the trucking industry, there's a lot of older people in that. They're not going to be able to bounce back from a major cut in business
Yeah.
like that. You don't pick up a new career at 50.
Right, and what do you do
Like
if...
my uncle, who's a truck driver, has been his whole life. He's
Yeah.
well into his 50s. If truck driving disappears in the next 5 years, he's still got 10 years to go before he can retire. If he can retire at 65,
What do
he's
you do?
screwed.
Yeah. I
He
don't know.
has no marketable skill beyond that.
Maybe we'll figure it out. I mean, people used to operate switches for phones. I mean, think about how many people that took. You want to make a call, we got to switch and change shit, and you know what I mean?
Party lines.
Party lines.
My mom used to have a party line.
Yeah.
She lived out in the middle of nowhere.
So I don't know. But that didn't happen. There wasn't like one day where it was a thing and then the next day it wasn't a thing. Everybody had a, automatic switching telephone. That wasn't. It happened over years.
Yeah, and cars will happen that way too because there's as an industry maybe.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
suppose.
An industry could, if InBev decides tomorrow, we're going to order, I don't know.
10,000 of these.
Right.
100,000 of these, whatever.
Yeah, 10,000 people just lose their job.
Just as long as it takes to manufacture them and move them in.
Or 1 million. What'd you say, 1.1 million or something?
It said 1.5 million truck drivers.
That's a lot of people, man. That's a lot of people. All of a sudden just did not have a job.
That's like a percentage point at least on the unemployment scale.
Yeah, and that's just truck drivers. That's not, cab drivers. It's not Uber drivers. It's not Lyft drivers. It's not mechanics. It's not, it's not all the people involved with it. That's just one.
One thing I've kind of noticed that I thought was funny. They always talk about how sci-fi movies kind of predict the future.
Yeah.
Star Wars, Star Trek, stuff like that. You know what they don't have?
Autonomous spaceships.
Autonomous vehicles.
Dude, because it's not cool. Like the whole Star Wars movie, you just wouldn't have Han
Solo just like chilling in the back playing that weird chess game. That wouldn't have been nearly
You wouldn't have
as
him.
interesting.
You wouldn't have the Wookiee.
Nope, no Chewie.
No Chewie.
Chewbacca.
Why would you need him? You're just not.
Right, Robbie?
Just not in the movie anymore. What are dinosaurs? Dinosaurs don't drive cars, though, do they?
No.
It would have been way cooler if they did.
Yeah, they would have been.
Velociraptors would have taken over.
Actually, sir, your movie's the problem because your movie has the stupid cars on the track, autonomous cars,
Autonomous
in Jurassic
cars,
Park.
and people died.
People died in that movie, Robbie. It's foreshadowing.
Nobody has a clue what we're talking about anymore. You guys are talking about Star Wars, now we're talking about Jurassic Park.
Let's end this.
Robbie's
this
into Jurassic
train
Park.
wreck.
Find us at 10tenspodcast.com.
Buy a
Facebook.
shirt, leave
Buy
a
shirt.
review,
Yeah, leave us a review on
subscribe to our
on
YouTube
iTunes.
channel.
Is that it?
Send us your topics, please.
Send us topics, please.
Keep an eye out for an AMA.
Or if you think of a question, just send it to us on Facebook, too, or any of those other sites. You can just send it to us.
Yeah, we don't want to do them every week. There's plenty of shows that do them every week. But if we had enough questions to do maybe a show a month that had at least a question section, we'd do that for sure.
I like it. Let's end it. See you guys next week.
Bye. Like, they got a lot of shit going on.
If that car moves, I swear to God, Robbie.
They just drove away.
You just got lied to by some Mormons.
They're going to hell. Right?
They know.
Or do
They
go
knew.
to
They saw you
purgatory?
working on your car.
Or do they go to
knew.
purgatory?
They knew if they came back, it's we're having car trouble.
Yeah, I know.
What did she say exactly?
Those dirty, rotten scoundrels.
They asked if not, I didn't even give them a chance to say anything. I said we're about to record a podcast.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
And then they said, "Oh, we were just having car trouble." So, and then I don't know.
No, it's not true. It's a lie. They just lied to you.
Holy crap.
They just want to pray for me.
At least somebody does, right?